During the summers of 1973 and 1974, I visited Russia, then known as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, with a group of Canadian students who were studying Russian language and literature. I've written about it in my novel, Jazz with Ella. During this Cold War period, there was much suspicion on both sides of the planet. You were either an evil commie or a decadent capitalist. Although Brezhnev was actually the leader of the country at that time, in many ways this man was still in charge, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, even though he had died in 1924, just 40 years before my visit. Like all the Western visitors, we were carefully managed and kept busy by Intourist, the state-owned tourist agency, who took us to see displays of folk dancing, like these ones in a Russian village. Costumes. We ate well, mostly with the food reserved for foreigners. It was designed to impress us. Smoked sturgeon, caviar, and also pierogies like these ones. With sour cream. Yum. We had a great time. Vodka was involved, of course, and we made new friends. But Russians generally know how to have fun, and though this is a recent picture, it's with traditional costumes, balalaika music, and dancing. These last two photos are courtesy of Connie Johnston, as she visited Russia last fall. As Russian language students, we knew how to escape the rigorously controlled group and ask questions of the people we meet. You can see here that there are more bottles than food on this table. I sampled the pepper vodka, and conversation flowed freely after that. We also met artisans who produced traditional crafts. These are the matryoshka dolls, stacking dolls, we call them. When you open the largest doll, there's another smaller one inside, and another inside that one, and so on. It's the perfect metaphor for this country. There's always something more inside, superficial. On the left, this is a stacking doll, that's Boris Yeltsin. On the left, and inside him is a smaller Gorbachev, a smaller Brezhnev, a smaller Stalin, and in the center is a tiny little Lenin. Leningrad is, well, we visited Leningrad, and it's now called St. Petersburg. It's a gorgeous city of churches, canals, sunshine, yellow buildings, and parks. This is St. Isaac's Cathedral, taken just recently by Connie Johnston. This is the Hotel Astoria. In 1973, we stayed at this old and elegant hotel. Hitler planned to hold his victory party here when he invaded Leningrad. That never happened, of course, that the Leningraders would not let him. They defied his armies and starved to death instead. Unfortunately, I was young and daring in the 1970s, and it was easy to meet men there, but the quality of this slide is taken from 1974. It's not very good. But this was a soldier on leave. There was a lot of soldiers around. This fellow was very friendly. Stories. This is Leningrad again, or St. Petersburg now. Soon after I arrived in Leningrad, I met a man who would become the subject of my novel, Jazz with Ella. Like my fictional character, Volodya, he desperately wanted to leave the country. We met on a bridge like this one. In fact, this may have been the very bridge, although I took this photo 20 years later when I returned to Russia in 1993. I have a memory of trees on the water side, but in 20 years things change. This is St. Petersburg today. This is the canal. You can take cruises on this canal. In fact, Connie Johnston took cruises, and this is her photo again. My book's character, Volodya, wants to play jazz piano in West, but he has received another job from the state, fixing these automatic soda machines. That literally means gassy water. And in those days, there was one glass, you put your Copex in the machine, you rinsed your glass, you drank your water, and then you put the glass back. Very excellent. Russia has changed a lot since 1974, and even since 1993. And here's kind of a representative scene of today's Russia. The Rostral Column in St. Petersburg, and underneath the stretch limousine. This is a typical scene in Leningrad, a shabby courtyard in an apartment block of sunshine yellow buildings. I originally wanted this image for a cover for my book because it seemed so typical of my experience there. But, you know, in the end I chose another cover, this one, because the marketing type people said that this was a better choice to kind of tell a story of what was in my book. Many of my adventures in that strange foreign land have been recounted in my book based on my own notes. Russians are everywhere. This is actually Vancouver. This is the Russian Hall in Vancouver that has some wonderful murals on the outside of the building. And it's really worth taking a walk through there and looking at them if you have some time when you're in Vancouver. Jazz with Ella should be available in your local bookstore. This is the commercial portion. If it isn't, please ask the bookstore why not. I would love to have some more bookstores having my book in Vancouver, for example. This is a wood showcase. You can also email me at my website,